Jacob, he's not in the. Jacob, he's out of the neighborhood. Now is the opportunity.
I'm Michael. I think I'd quicker go eat in 5:50. Anyways, okay. Yeah, so Daf Kuf Chav Gimel's why cutting off tzaraas is not something that's being done without. No, I'm sorry. That's today's daf, right? What are we up to? What daf we on?
I'm in Bays.
Oh, we start Kuf Lamed. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
so
you wrote Kuf Chaf on the Chazar.
Oh, I wrote Kuf Chav Bays. I know something being thrown off over here. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so how we know that the preparations for Mila can be done on Shabbos? We learn that from any of the others from bris, because bris had 13 brisim. 4 different ways how we know that the actual bris can be done on Shabbos. We won't go through all 4. We don't learn out of Kavachimer from Halacha L'Moshe Messina, right? That we can't learn out. And the background on how to learn out the psukim that Mila can be done on Shabbos, meaning tzaraas is doicha avoida, avoida is doicha Shabbos, right? We went around and around. Then on Bebe is the same thing. And then cutting off tzaraas, that's on the Mila. And how do we know that you could take off the Mila, the foreskin, even though there's tzaraas there, right? So that's what we're up to. So Zakti Gemara, 3 lines down, Kuf Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph on the top, yeah? So Omar Mar, Basar, Avabi Sheyesham Beheres Yimo. So if you have basar, flesh, even though it has a beheres is another word, one of the types of tzaraas, right? So you still do Mila, do Rabbi Yashia. Yeah, Halam Elikra, what do you need a pasuk for? It's a right? When you give a bris, right? Now we can never get away from this. I don't think we can go more than 10 blot without bringing this up in Hilchos Shabbos, right? That's how important it is, right? But the bottom line is even you're not, when you're cutting off the tzaraas, that's not your intent. Your intent is to do a bris. It happens to be that you're cutting off the tzaraas. So why do you need a pasuk for it? It's Davar Shenim Eschavin.
Davar Shenim Eschavin legabe Shabbos or stam?
No, stam. Nothing to do with Shabbos.
There's always an Indian Davar Shenim Eschavin that has nothing to do with Shabbos?
Yes. Yeah. We go with it in all over in the Torah. Yeah, this is a raya like that.
I thought it's an Indian stam an Indian that applies to Malacha itself.
No, it applies everywhere. And if you do Einem Eschavin is yeah. That was we also got into with being Masaras the person, right? What do you call it? How do you say Sirus? Right?
Castrating.
We had a bunch of blood of castrating, right? But not castrating, because castrating is the physical. Taking the koshal ikrin, right? Taking that would make them sterile. Thank you, sterile. That would make them sterile. That's also Einem Eschavin because you're taking it for medication. So it applies all over.
You don't want this Baharis off?
You mean you're happy? It's a nichale. Yes, that's true. Well, we're going to see. It's a psikration to nichale, but lamaisa, that's not your intent, right? Otherwise, you can go in quarantine for a week, right? It's not like it's such a big deal, but the ikr thing you want to take off is the bris. You're right. It would be a psikration to nichale. That's true. I'm assuming you don't want the tzaraas on. Right? That is a good point. So, Amar Abaya. We're going according to Rabbi Yehuda, who says Davar Shenim Eschavin is Aser. But if you go according to the other opinion that Davar Shenim Eschavin is Mutter, and Chanami, you don't need a pasuk. Rabbi Amar Afilu Tem Reb Shimon. You can even say Reb Shimon. Ma'ayda Reb Shimon b'psik reisha v'lo yamos. Right? Reb Shimon's ma'ayda that if it's going to automatically happen, then you are going to be chayiv. Abaya said of Abaya Leslie has svara. Abaya doesn't hold of this svara of psik reisha. But Abaya and Rava Damrit about Ma'ayda Reb Shimon b'psik reisha v'lo yamos. Right? Abaya and Rava both agree that even Reb Shimon would be agreeing that b'psik reisha v'lo yamos that you're not allowed to do it. So the Gemara answers, "Basa the Shama Mirava Savra." After he heard it from Rava, so Abaya came around to agree with Rava. Yeah. So see, it's not they're not fighting just for fighting's sake. Bottom line is Rava and Abaya both agreed, right, to this thing. So it's yeah. So now there are those that say that this Abaya and Rava was on something else, but similar. It says you should be careful with the nega tzaraas, not to do anything to it. You can't do anything to it, meaning you can't take off the tzaraas. You can put if it's on a tzaraas on your foot, so you can put something around your foot. And if you want to carry a load on your shoulder, if you have a tzaraas there, meaning if you have a tzaraas on your foot, can you put on a shoe? L'mashal. and the shoe might wear off the tzaraas, right? If you have a tzaraas on your shoulder, can you carry something on your shoulder and then it might take it off, right? So you're allowed to do it, the Gemara is saying, and if the tzaraas goes away, it goes away, as long as you didn't do it with intent. Why don't you need a pasuk to tell you that? It would be according to Rabbi Yehuda, but you're right according to Rabbi Shimon not. So Rava says it could even be Rabbi Shimon, because Rabbi Shimon says when it's an automatic, so then even Rabbi Shimon agrees that it's a problem. Abaye Leslie high svara. Abaye doesn't hold to this svara. Abaye v'Rava Damri Tavayam Moed Rabbi Shimon Pesach Reish V'Lo Yomus. They both say that the Pesach Reish V'Lo Yomus, that the Rabbi Shimon would be chiyuv. So the boss of the Shamei Rava Savra. After he heard it from Rava, so then he held it. Now this next Gemara is Shakvatai. I don't really get. Abaye Alibid Rabbi Shimon. Right? We just said Abaye's chayzer. Right? This is just a klalistic question in a Gemara, because when I was learning the Gemara initially, it's like I couldn't understand what the Gemara wanted. Abaye according to Reb Shimon, meaning Abaye according to the way he thought Reb Shimon before he changed his mind, right? Abaye according to Reb Shimon, when Reb Shimon would say potter, hi basar my ovidly, what's he going to do with the word basar to tell you that you're allowed to give the bris, right? Well, who cares? Abaye already changed his mind. Right? Meaning, if it was a kasha and you have two, fine. So then we have to understand. But Abaye changed his mind. So why do we care to explain what Abaye would hold according to Reb Shimon in his hapanim? He himself was chayzer. Well, Elamai, he wasn't chayzer for this reason. Sense. What?
The hapanim has to make sense. This is, how could Abaye have possibly thought to say that? This buster is completely extra.
No.
We had a drush in the brisa, and it doesn't make
sense.
But
good, so I have to find, right, I'm saying. But Lamaisa was not extra. You're saying because he said it for a different reason, not for this reason. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, we're talking about Namayra. You can't be talking shtiyat.
No, I understand. I'm not saying that we're going to eliminate havaminas, right? But it's just interesting that after he's already chayzer, then we go back to try and understand his havamina. Okay, whatever it is. I hear you.
Abaye only was chayzer misvar. He wasn't, meaning, if the Gemara asked the kasha and mitzad the pasuk, he wasn't chayzer out to that.
Yeah, so that's I think what Gershon is saying. You're both ganging up on my kasha. Okay, good, fine. I hear you, Teretz. Very good. That's why I brought it up. I'm happy I brought it up. But yeah, so Abaye leave it to Reb Shimon high basar my. According to the original Abaye, what would he do with Reb Shimon? What would Reb Shimon do with the word basar? It's extra, right? The basar tells you that you're allowed to take off the tzaraas when you make a bris, right? So Abaye was saying that goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. That was his original answer. So now Rava, he's saying that he doesn't need that. So now what would he say? Basar is from Shimon. My ovidlei. Like you said, Reb David, you said it's talking about where he said, "I want to cut off the tzaraas while I do the bris." Satina gadol katan meakev. Okay, so that's by gadol where it says the word basar. Katan, what are you going to say? Amar Amasharshia ba'aymer avia ben. If the father of the kid says, I want you, by the way, Mr. Moyle, or Rabbi Moyle, I want you to cut off his tzaraas while you're doing the bris. So then Gemara asks, well, if there's somebody else there, then let somebody else do it. Whenever you have an asay and a loisasay, if you're able to be meakev both, then good. Let the asay come and be doicha the loisaseh, right? So why don't you have somebody else do it? So Gemara says the lega acher. There was nobody else around, so therefore he has to be doicha and asay and a loisaseh, right? Meaning the Gemara's kasha was, why don't you get somebody else to cut off? Meaning the father wants the kid's tzaraas to get off, right? So for him, he's doing the bris with kavana to do an issa. Good, so get somebody else, a random guy who doesn't care about this guy's kid's tzaraas. Let him cut it off. Let him do the bris, right? Like this, he's not doing any issa. It's ena mischaven. So we're saying there's nobody else. That's all. Okay, so Amar Mar. Yom Tif ain't a doicha ela bizman abavad. Yom Tif, you can't make a bris on Yom Tif unless it's bizman. We know animili. How do you know that? So Amar Chizkiya v'chein tana devei Chizkiya Amar Kol l'sisiru mimenu ad baiker. it says don't leave anything over until the morning, right? That's talking about korbanos. Tamiloimer ad boiker, right? Let's see, remember ad boiker, shein tamiloimer ad boiker. We don't need to say ad boiker. Ma tamiloimer ad boiker. What's it teaching us? Because litin like boiker shein elisir falsely. You could take me, even though you're no longer allowed to eat the carbon, but you get another day till the second morning in order to burn it.
See, Yaakov,
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact case, and I forgot to call my brother today. Years ago, by Reb Z. Saltz in the shul, I think it was a guy had twins, Ben Hashmash's Friday night or something like that. And Rosh Hashanah was going to be Sunday and Monday. So Turatinsky was going to be his mile. So there was 3 different sheeters of when to do the bris. And there was I think Rav Moshe, Reb Aaron, and Turatinsky, who's a Baldeya by bris, you know. So
right.
I don't remember, but it's something like that was the case.
Well, yeah, the common but the more common shayla by bris on Yom Tiv is if the baby is born bein hashmashas of the first day Yom Tiv, right? So we don't do, because it's bein hashmashas, so we don't do the bris on Yom Tiv. But what about Yom Tiv Sheni? Do we say b'negeya to this that Yom Tiv Sheni? It's for sure Maman of Shach that bris should be done. So that's, I don't know if that's the shy. I guess that was yeah.
No,
anyway.
Yaakov, what would be the
Yeah,
Isser on Yom Tov? What would the Isser be on Yom Tov?
It's also the same thing. Chavola.
Chaval. I mean,
for not
now, what's the Isser Chavala? Meaning, you're able to do Shlita on Yom Tov.
Yeah, but that's only for the tzarach of Yom Tiv. It's only for the tzarach of Yom Tiv.
And we don't say Hayel or Mitaych or whatever.
Even if you do, it still has to be a tzarach of Yom Tiv. So the bris is not a tzarach of Yom Tiv. Do the bris the next day. You're right. No, you would have to come on to Hayel.
Obviously, but I'm saying that you can't apply. Smoking is that much different than this? Meaning that's a tzarich in and of itself?
Sure.
Let's say you say
nefesh.
no, I'm saying I thought we said
more than Eichel Nefesh. Smoking on Yom Tov is a mitzvah deraisa.
Don't we say? I'm sorry. Don't we say Hayel even
Can
without Eichel Nefesh?
Can you smoke
No,
marijuana on Yom Tov? If you eat herring from 550 on Yom Tov, could you smoke marijuana after the herring? That's the shayla.
The mitzvah deraisa.
That's not my shayla. That's not my shayla. That's your shayla.
Eichel nefesh, Akiva. Eichel nefesh. It has to go into eichel nefesh in order to allow the malacha to be done on. Has to fall into the category of eichel nefesh. Meaning it has to be, and then it has to be shavel eichel nefesh. Yeah. Anyway, so I think the bris, you're right. I think what you're saying is, well, hey, today is Yom Tiv and I got to do my kid's bris. That's what you're saying? So it's a tzarech. See, I don't know if that's considered a tzarech of Yom Tiv. He has a tzarech. Lav dafka has to be a tzarech of Yom Tiv.
Right.
That, yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Okay. So that's how we say that you can't do it on Yom Tiv. Abaye Omar. Abaye has a different reason. Omar kro oila Shabbos b'Shabbatai. Says the oila of Shabbos and Shabbos. V'loy oila schol b'Shabbos. V'loy oila schol b'Yom Tiv. And not an oila schol on Yom Tiv. Right. So he's saying that basically an oila schol, a bris that's shalei bizmana, is also oila schol. Rabba Amar kro hu levada yaseh lechem hu v'lei machshirin levada v'lei mila shalei bizmana. That's meakev v'chomer. Rabba has a different shot. He says hu levada yaseh lechem hu v'lei machshirin. Right? You can't do the preparations. Levada v'lei mila shalei bizmana. That's meakev v'chomer, because we can learn that out from the previous kav v'chomers that we said. Rabbi Ashi Amar Shabbosin. It says Shabbosin. Esehu. Right? The Shabbos means you have to rest on Yom Tiv. V'havala Yom Tiv, I'm sorry, what do you call it? Yeah, what's the Shabbos sign? To rest, right? So that's a mitzvah asay. V'havala Yom Tiv asay v'lois asay v'ein asay doiches lois asay v'asay. And an asay is not doicha a lois asay and an asay. Right? Yeah, fine. So those are, how many reasons do we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 reasons why you can't a mila b'loi bizmana, shaloi bizmana is not doicha shab, not doicha yom tiv. Yeah. So klal amar Rebbe Kiva, right? So Rebbe Kiva said a klal. Yeah. So now this is when we get down to the bottom of it, is who do we pass on that? Right? Who do we, right? Bottom line is who we possibly like. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. It's Klal Amar Rabbi Kiva, right? So who do we pass on? Like Rabbi Kiva, who says you're not allowed to do the preparations, or like Rabbi Eliezer, who says you're allowed to do preparations even on Shabbos. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav, halacha Rabbi Kiva. Halacha is like Rabbi Kiva. But Tanan Nami Gabi Pesach, and we said the same thing by Pesach. Meaning the carbon Pesach, you're not allowed to do the preliminaries. What do you call it? The what was it? I just said it. Preliminaries. That was. Before Pesach. Ki haigavna klal ki haigavna. You can't do that. So klal Amar Rabbi Kiva kol malacha she'efshel alazas me'erev Shabbos ain't a doiches Shabbos. Any malacha that could be done before Shabbos is not doiches Shabbos. Shchita she'efshel alazas me'erev Shabbos doiches Shabbos. The shchita of carbon Pesach, not regular shchita. Shchita of carbon Pesach, when it falls out on erev Pesach shechal b'Shabbos, is doiches Shabbos. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rav halacha Rabbi Kiva. Yehuda Rav says Allah is like Rabbi Kiva. Meaning, so I need to say, if you say Allah is like Rabbi Kiva, why do you need to say it by Mila and Pesach? Why do you need to say it twice? Just say Allah is like Rabbi Kiva. The tzricha meaning Gabi Mila Hasam who the Machshirin the Efshalasas Me'esma Loidach Shabbos. The Leka Chorus there, Machshirin that you were able to do from Friday, shouldn't push off Shabbos because there's no chorus. Avo Pesach the Ika, meaning there's not going to be chorus because you'll do the bris the next day. Avo Pesach the Ika chorus, but Pesach if you don't do the carbon Pesach when you're supposed to do it, there's a fee of chorus. Aim Litchu Shabbos, and maybe there the preliminary should also be Daicha Shabbos. By Pesach it doesn't have 13 brises. Avo Mila the Nichusarla Gimel brises, but Mila that has 13 brises, Aim Litchu Shabbos. You think maybe the preliminaries should also be Daicha Shabbos Tzricha. That's what you need to say both cases, that side by Pesach, side by Mila. We don't paskin like Rebbe Eliezer, and that is the way we paskin, right? Not like Rebbe Eliezer, and you cannot do any of the preliminary things on Shabbos. Yeah, what are you saying?
If Rabbi Kiva says that the only thing is mutter is shchita v'pesach, how do you get it to the Beis Hamikdash? That's tzaraas.
Didn't they shecht it by the Beis Hamikdash?
Yeah, but how did they get the animals there? On Shabbos. They couldn't have taken them all before Shabbos. There were 3 kativ for starters.
Right. I don't know. Maybe they all were on the Beis Hamikdash somehow.
That's even possible?
I have no idea. Is it possible to be 3 kativ? You can tell me.
That's the least thing to understand from the whole era of Pesach.
Watch out. You better watch out. Our Api Karsis, you might bring out our Api Karsis. That's for 9:30 in the morning. That's for the 9:30 in the morning Zoom. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they would get it. I don't know. I hear. Okay. You're allowed to do anything that's necessary. Meaning, what falls under the category of doing for the bris? Meaning, what's the bris and what's not for the bris? So what falls under it? So you're allowed to do everything. Moyelin, upayrin, metzitza, right? Priya is to peel back the skin. Metzitza is, we all know what that is. Metzitza pepeh, right? Pepeh, I'm sorry, I didn't want to get into controversy. Metzitza with something, okay? Either the peh or the tube or whatever, okay? Menaisan aleh is palonis, the cumin, and you put on it powders and stuff. Im loy shacham erev Shabbos, and now let's say you forgot to grind up the powder, the medication before Shabbos. Loy is b'shina benaisan. You grind it up in your teeth and you put it there, right? And that's because it's a shinui, right? And that's why you're allowed to do that. Im loy taraf yain v'shemen me'erev Shabbos. Somehow, for some reason back then, they must have put on oil, and they must have mixed oil and wine together in order to get it, I don't know, I guess it helped to heal. So if you didn't do it together, what's wrong with that? It's just a weekday activity to mix wine together with oil. So then, you put each one on separately, meaning you just pour on the oil and pour on the wine. And you're not allowed to make a bandage lechatchila. Or you could put some sort of smartut's also a shmata, meaning not a professional bandage. In loy hiskem erev Shabbos, let's say you were not mesaken from erev Shabbos, meaning you didn't cut a piece of this bandage. So what you do is kairach aletz boy, you wrap it on your finger, or maybe you can carry it through, meaning you wear it, you put it on your finger like a glove, right? And then you bring it through the Rosh Hashanah, not Rosh Hashanah, right? Maybe. Right, but you could go through, even though there's no eruv from one chutzah to the chutzah, you can wear it that way, and that's how you'd get it. Yeah. So zakti gemara michti, right on our base now. Michti katani kulu. We learned all of them. Kol tzar chiyuv lasuyemai. Meaning we went through everything, right? So then why does it say we went through a bunch of examples, all the things that are necessary for bris? So then why does the Mishna have to say the words kol tzar chiyuv? It's got to be coming to tell us something, right? So if it just said kol tzar chiyuv and stopped, fine. So that's what it's coming to tell us, anything that's for Mila. But then it goes and lists a bunch of things. So that means Kol Tzarech Mila must be coming to include something. What's it coming to include? We really need the mile here for this, right? So if you mal, right, let's say the guy chaps that he left some skin there. So as long as he's involved in the bris, he goes back. It's called tzitzin hamakmin. Tzitzin literally means from the word tzitzis. Yeah, Jesse, you were right on the thing with the tzitzis, right? So it's little pieces of skin. No, I have no idea what it's supposed to look like or anything like that. No, but there's tzitzin that are meakev and tzitzin like everything else. Some skin, if it's there, it's too much and it's no good. And some skin, if it's there, it's not. It's fine. So as long as he's still being busy with the milah, he can go back and fix both of them. Pirish, but once he separates, so then now again it's Shabbos, so you can't go fixing these things. Al tzitzin hamak v'nesamila chayzer. For the ones that are meakev, so obviously you go back because your bris wasn't good enough anyways. Al tzitzin she'ein ma'ak v'nesamila ein chayzer. But if it's not meakev, then you can't go back. You'll have to go Motzei Shabbos and fix it. I don't know if Motzei Shabbos works. I don't know if you do that at night. Maybe yeah, maybe no. I don't know. Right? So good. So that's what kol tzarche is coming to tell you. Mantana pirish ein chayzer. So now this is a whole sugya here. Who says when you stop doing the bris? What is it called when you're done with the bris? Does that mean the second you take your knife away from the foreskin? Right? Is that what that means? Or does it mean as long as you're standing over the baby? Like, at what point do you say that you're done with the milah and you got to go back? So first, who says that you're as long as you're standing there, maybe that's enough. So mantana pirish einer chayzer. Who's the Tana that holds that if once you separated, once you stopped with the actual bris, you don't go back? I hope the Olam remembers this. This is from 20 blot ago. The Tanya Arba Asr Shechalias b'Shabbos, again, Erev Pesach that falls out on Shabbos, Mafshid Adam Pesach Ad Chazah. So the person could, how do you call it? Flay, right? Flay the carbon Pesach up until the shoulder, because that's all you need to do. Lechem say no, you can do the whole thing. So we're going to say it's Rabbi Shmuel that the Tana here that says you don't go back is Rabbi Shmuel ben Aisha B'Yachon. So once you get to the shoulder and you did your mitzvah, so then you stop. So Mara says, maybe who says that he fits into this? Now this is a big sugi here. Maybe over there you don't need it to look beautiful. You just need to get out whatever the fats are. So you cut it and it's good. It doesn't have to be a good job. But here, by a bris, you need zekeli v'anveyu. I'm sure parents are going to like that one. It needs to be beautiful, right? So when the uncle says it's a beautiful bris and we all laugh at him, it's a beautiful bris, he's basing on this Gemara that the bris has to look beautiful. Whatever eyes in the eye, I guess beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. But that's yeah. So the bris has to be zekeli v'anveyu. The Tanya zekeli v'anveyu. It's no lefana b'mitzvah saseh, right? I'm sorry. It's not lefana b'mitzvahs. You should make yourself beautiful in front of Hashem with mitzvahs. Asa lefana of sukkah no. That's where you got to make a sukkah no. That's where no sukkah comes from. The lulav no. That's where the things get a nice lulav, a shayfer no, and a nice shayfer. Tzitzis no, and not on your masks. Tzitzis no, right? A nice tzitzis. Sefer Torah no. The kasaboy l'shmai, and you write it l'shma b'diyai with good ink. B'diyai no with nice ink. Kulmas no with a good. what do you call kumlas quill? Thank you. Right. The lavlar uman. What's a lavlar? See, that's what lavlar is also a pen, right? It's the same thing. So not the same thing.
Scribe. That's the
So-
cipher. Yeah.
But see, Yaakov, your father had a lot of pens, no?
That's true, but I thought a lavlar. I'm saying he's.
The
What do
lavler
you
is
mean?
the
He's saying the
person.
lavlar is the name of him.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's a lavlar that also. Yeah, I thought there was also lavlar. Okay, I thought lavlar was also the name of a pen. That's why it's called a lavlar.
A cipher is Lashon Kodesh. Lavler is Aramaic.
I hear.
Scribe is
Okay.
English. Yeah.
I hear. So, Bakumas no, but lavlar uman. I don't know what that means. The lavlar uman, as opposed to
The professional.
an
expert.
An expert.
An
Is that an
expert,
expert? Okay,
yeah.
okay, good. But karcha b'shirayin.
Yeah, you've seen
should-
this was written by Arabs on the back of a donkey.
Right.
That's not
right.
a cipher human.
I hear. Yeah. At least you went to the Arabs. Okay, good. Not I'm saying you didn't say anything worse. Baruch Hashem, the 3 weeks. You have a karcha b'shirayin and you wrap it up with shirayin. That's also another interesting. Shirayin means like leftover clothing, right? That's usually what shirayin is. I mean, why would you do leftover clothing? I mean, it's supposed to be nice ones. Fine.
He's touching a beautiful silks.
Beautiful silks. Okay, I thought shirayin was more. Okay, they say he's touching shirayin a silk. I hear. Okay. Right. The Svardim put silk on their Sefer Torah, right? They hang silks on their Sefer Torah. Abashol Omer Vanveyu Zed Doimeloi, right? Ve'anveyu, Rashi says, right? Rashi says Lashon Anveyu Ani Vehu, which is Ese Atzmai Kemoisei LeDavid Rachav. Ani and Anveyu doesn't mean beautiful. He says Anveyu is a Lashon Ani Vehu, meaning Havi Doimeloi. You should make yourself similar to Hashem. This is an important. This is important. This is an important line, and one of the more important lines in Shas. If everybody would be like this, if we'd all be like this, we'd be in a much better situation. Mahu chanan v'rachum, af atu chanan v'rachum. Just like Hashem is a chanan and a rachum, also you're supposed to be a chanan v'rachum, right? And you're there to give, right? The Rebbe Hashem is the big ultimate giver, so we're also supposed to be like that. Okay, so whatever it is. So bottom line is maybe Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Shmuel ben Ashra. What do you say?
Before you said by the Baharis, we said we're going to try to don't take the father and take somebody who doesn't care. So I'll say to you, how can somebody that doesn't care?
Very
They
good.
don't care that that my son has a Baharis on his.
Very good. Every time I learned that, I didn't want to bring it up, but now you brought it up. I didn't want to bring it up, but
I was thinking it before, but I didn't say it.
Yeah, very good. So the same thing with when we had also with the cutting the grass of the neighbor. It's you don't care about the neighbor's grass. I understand. Well, anytime because it's somebody else's property, you're supposed to care, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Should I care that parents is eating this herring?
Right.
You should.
Really?
Yes, you should. Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You
Well, the
should
problem
care.
is.
I think you should come over and eat it before I do.
The problem is that when you get the guys that care and they say, I care so much, I have to make a macha. No, we're not talking about that type of caring. Anyways.
Tiago,
Yeah.
let's see. What is at the end of the day, what's the chiddush of this Gemara? If you didn't complete the Milah because it's still meakev, it's not a chiddush. You didn't complete the Milah. Of course, it's Teichel Shabbos.
No, and a chanami, but.
So why is it lesuya?
No,
Why would I need a
because-
chiddush to tell us that?
No,
What would I think otherwise?
No, we're going with the other case. We're going with the other case where you were still Isaac in the Milah.
Why would you still think it's usher? Of course, it's mutter.
Hold on a second.
Oh, you're saying if you're still Isaac in the that's what you're saying.
I couldn't hear. I'm sorry. What did you say? What did you say, Akiva?
You're saying the lesuya is including the case where it's not meakev, but
It's
you're still
both.
Isaac in the Milah.
Yeah, that's but you're right. On the surface, it seems like we're only looking for the shita that says he was already Pirish, right?
Right.
I think it's both. Elo Ravashi, how many? So now, okay, so we're saying it's not Rabbi Shmuel ben Yochanan because he doesn't. The reason why he says not to cut the whole animal is because you don't need to, and there's no beauty by putting the korban pesach up in the fire. But by a bris, there is making it a beautiful bris. Elo Ravashi, how many Rabbi Yosi? It must be Rabbi Yosi. The Tanan ben Shenir ba'olol ben Shaloinir ba'olol machalan of the Shabbos. This is talking about back in the old days when they were makadosh the chaydesh. right, with two Adam saw the new moon, so they had to run to Yerushalayim. So what happens if it was very visible? So are they Mechal Shabbos to go to Yerushalayim, or can we just assume that the sky is so clear, other people must have seen it, there's no reason, right? So Rabbi Yossi says, Bein Shenir Ba'al, Bein Shalei Nibral, Mechal Anazar, you go, right? You don't assume that somebody else had it, saw it. Rabbi Yossi Aimer, Nire Ba'al, Ein Mechal Anazar Shabbos. If you see it in the sky so clearly that you're not Mechal Shabbos, Mimai. Okay, so therefore what? So what do we learn out from this? Yeah? So only when it's a vadai do you go. This actually answers up your question, Akiva. Meaning, because what does it have to do with being Pirish? But meaning it's only when you have a vadai that's for sure. I'm saying even if you go with the Tanakama, right? Rabbi Yossi. You go with Rabbi Yossi, who says he doesn't care. He doesn't care only when it's a vadai that you mechal Shabbos. That's when you mechal Shabbos. So for the tzitzin that are not meakev, so you don't do it. Right, so then right, so that's what he's saying. The tzitzin are not meakev. Why should you be mechal Shabbos to that? So he says, "Me my duma adkan like Rabbi Yossi Hasam the like nitna Shabbos litchas, aval hachat the nitna Shabbos litchas hachanami." Maybe there Shabbos was not meant to be pushed off. Meaning if there's no pasuk that says be mechal Shabbos in order to go do the new moon, right? But here we do have in bris. It says do the bris even on Shabbos. So Ella Amri Nardoi, Rabban and the Polyglot Rabbi Yossi, that's a different one. This is the third attempt to figure out who the sheet is. It's the Rabban who disagree with Rabbi Yossi. The Tanan Arba B'Kahanim Nichnasin, right? The way they did when Shabbos morning, when they had to replace the lechem hapanim, right? The 12 breads. So 4 Kehanim went in, Shnayim B'Yadam Shnei Sedarim, Shnayim B'Yadam Shnei Bezichen. 2 sets had all the breads, and 2 Kehanim had the Bezichen, the spices, Ba'arba makdim lefneim, and 4 go in before them. Shnaim litol shnei sedarim. 2 of them take off the bread. Shnaim litol shnei bazichin, and 2 to take away the two spices. Hamachnisan oimdim betzafen upneim ledarim. The ones that are coming in are standing on the north side, facing south. Hametzian, and the ones that are taking out the bread, oimdim bedarim, are standing on the south, upneim letzafen. Elu moishchen ve'elu manichin. Tifchay shalzeh betzat tifchay shalzeh. Each one is their hands are touching each other. Meaning you can never have the bread not on the table. So basically we have 2 Kehanim coming with the new bread, and you have 2 Kehanim taking the old bread from the other angle. So the second the old bread goes out, the new bread gets pushed right in, so that therefore the table is never missing the bread. Right? Yeah, I think that's pretty, it's fairly simple. Right? That's why you need to make sure that 4 Kehanim are doing this, so that the table's never without the bread. Rabbi Yossi doesn't care. He says, you don't have to be so exact. As long as 2 come in and take it, and then 2 come in and put it down. That's also considered tamid. So therefore, we're saying that it's not Rabbi Yossi, it's the Rabbanon who hold that the second you leave go of the bris, they're saying the second you let go of the lechem hapanim, so that's considered like you're done. So here too, by the bris, the second you take your knife, I guess, off of the foreskin, then that's it. You're only going to go back for tzitzin ha'ma'akfen. Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting that Rabbi Yossi here is the opposite of the other Rabbi Yossi.
Correct. You're right. Very good. Yes. That's. Yeah. What are you saying about?
On the Amud before, I never knew there's such a thing about. Gemara says, what are you talking about this for? It's a base of Migdash. We don't have the base of Migdash. It's Mashiach's stuff, right? So what are we talking about? Rabbi Yossi taught. Rabbi Yossi lived after the Migdash, no?
I don't know. I didn't understand. I don't understand
okay.
that. Right. The Gemara, what kind of question is that? Right? I don't know. I didn't understand that. Yes, I don't know. So Tanur Rabbanan, yeah? We got a few more lines. Mahalkatin esamila. You have to collect literally the milah. Bimlai hilkat onish chorus. That's the scary, right? If you do a bad job on the bris and you leave some of the extra skin there, then the einish is chorus. Money. Who's getting the chorus? Amarav Kahana Uman. The moil's getting the chorus. He did the bad job. Maskola of Papa Uman lema lahu ano avdi palga the mitzvah son avidu palga the mitzvah. Why can the Uman say, hey, I did most of the bris. Now you go finish it off, right? Why should he be chayiv chorus because he left on some skin? He'll say, let the other guy do it. Elomar Papa Gadol. It's talking about the Gadol did it. right? Meaning not how do you call it?
Gadol is the person getting the bris.
Yes, correct. Meaning it's only a gadol though, not a katan, because the katan's not going to be chayiv kares. It says by a gadol, if he doesn't have a good bris, it's an oral zachar, he doesn't have a milah. Really, it's talking about the moil. We're going to also bein hashmoshes to Shabbos. It was done bein hashmoshes to Shabbos. And they told him, we don't have time for this. There's enough time for me to do it. And he did it, and he didn't have enough time. And since he didn't have enough time to do a proper bris, all he ended up doing was just causing a cut on Shabbos. He gets a punishment of kares. Okay. Have a good Shabbos.
Wait, so this kares has nothing to do with Mila, it's to do with Shabbos.
Right, so that's interesting. So the kares, it sounds like the Gemara changed from what the kares. I guess still 10 o'clock, right? 10 o'clock,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Next week, I think we can make it earlier. Yeah. All right, a good Shabbos. I think, right. I think, Gershon, I think the original kares was kares because
Was
you
it
knocked him
Mila?
out.
Yeah.
And then this kares, yeah. Right?
But this is even more strange. You get kares for Beinish Mashas?
Right. That's a good kasha, Taka. That's a good
Yeah,
kasha.
because you didn't complete the meal by the end of.
I was wondering
by the end of the day.
No, he completed the Mila.
No, but
The Mila's
You
done.
didn't complete the meal. It's just a chabura.
No.
That's what
He
Gemara says.
completed
Vishtat the
Mila.
chabura huda. That's not true. Vishtat is the chabura huda avad. He didn't complete the mila. He didn't complete the meal on
very
Shabbos.
good. Chabura has nothing to do with Chabura b'Shabbos. Chabura is, he made a Chabura, he didn't do a Mila.
Because
I
on
don't see-
Shabbos he didn't complete the meal. So everything he did on Shabbos was only a half
No,
a
he didn't do
maisa.
anything on Shabbos. He did nothing on Shabbos.
Who wants to know, Mama?
He stopped when it hit Beinish
No.
Mashas, he stopped. So Vishtat is the
Well, I
Chabura
don't get
B'Shabbos.
Akiva's teretz. I don't get the teretz.
I
What
thought
are
he's
you
saying. I'm not sure.
No, I think he's right. I mean, he went too far. Chabura Hu Da'avad is because he didn't do the Mila in the end. He said, it's okay, I have enough time. Right?
No.
He did it 20 minutes before Shkia. It takes him 22 minutes usually to do a Mila. He says, no, I can do it in 20. Comes Shkia, he has to stop. So he didn't do a Mila. Vishtakich, the Chabura Hu Da'avad. He wounded the baby, he didn't do a Mila. He didn't do anything on Shabbos. He didn't finish it off. He stopped.
So good, but Lamais it's been Hashmoshes.
No, it's before Beinish Mashas. He stopped by Shkia.
Right?
So all he did to the baby was wound the baby. He didn't give him a Mila. And now he can't tell the father, you do the rest. Now it's Beinish Mashas.
Yeah.
You hear?
I'm trying to understand. What's the worst case scenario that happened?
He did it.
You mean
the
he
first
started it
was,
before
the
Ben?
kasha the
He's
Gemara
saying he
asked,
started. He's saying he started before. I got to answer all the shilas before the plug people make early Shabbos, and it gets backed up during the daf.
I'll say it quicker.
No. I'm doing.
The
That's
kasha
what I'm
the
saying.
Gemara asked originally was
It's
on
not a
Uman.
rush. It's not a rush. Gershon, not
See,
a rush.
I got to run.
I'm
I
doing
got to
two
run.
things at once.
I'm gonna look it over.
Okay.
I think I have it.
What
The kasha the
Go
Gemara
ahead.
asked originally was that led the Uman say to the father, you do the rest of it. Why should he get kares? We found a case now where the woman can't say you do the rest. It takes him 25 minutes to do a Mila. He starts 20 minutes before Shkia. Comes to Shkia, he has to stop. He didn't finish the Mila. All he did was wound the baby. He did not do a bris Mila. He didn't finish it. So Mela, now he did half the Mila on his kares. And we don't have the kasha. We have no kasha anymore. Let him say to the father, you finish it. It's Shabbos. You can't finish it now.
One second.
He did half the Mila.
No.
We want the kares for Mila, not for Shabbos. Yeah?
Right.
So we found a case now where the Ummah can't say anymore. The father will tell him, finish it off. He'll say, you finish it off. I did half. Why should I get kares? He can't say anymore, the father finish it off. It's his fault. It's his thing. You can't say. You stopped the shkia. The father can't finish it off now.
Why
It's
can't
Shabbos.
he?
To the Shabbos.
Good, but
Friday night, Beit Hashmoshes.
but it's a mealer that's meakev.
No, it's not. It's the 9th day now, not the 8th day.
I hear what you're saying. It's the night, right? It's not the right day, so you can't do it.
Right.
Okay, very good, very good. I hear you.
Yoshikoya Akiva, he left, but yeah.
Yeah, he left. I'll tell him. All right.
Yeah.
Shabbat
All right, have a good
shalom.
Shabbos.
Enjoy it.
All
Enjoy
right,
it.
and Rabbi
Fine.
Stein, if you guys need me for a minion, have Liner call me.
All right. Fine.
All right.
Bye-bye.
That was.